Hi everyone, Emily here from Emily Reads, and today I have for you another Advent unboxing, and I sighed because the box is very worse for the wear, and then I have a mini unhaul. Um, it was time I needed to unhaul some books, and I still am out of shelf space. Like I have books stacked on top of bookshelves. I don't know what I'm going to do. I love them all so much. But at any rate, let's get started with the book or the Advent calendar unboxing. So today is December 22nd. Oh, I can't do this one. Here we go. Wait. Oops, upside down. I can't read that backwards. Naughty or nice grog. Notes of cinnamon, nutmeg, and dark rum. That dark rum sounds delicious. Too bad I don't have real rum to add to it. That would make it really good. But I do have some Baileys. Maybe I can do that. I have like Bailey's chocolate and Bailey's caramel. And like I'm not working this week and next week. So I could add a little Bailey's to my coffee in the morning and it won't be a problem. Right? Right. Okay. So I'm going to go into my unhaul. Yeah, it was time for some of these books. Some of them I've read. Some of them I just am not interested anymore for a variety of reasons. Um, I'll put them in my Pango shop, but I'm going to kind of pause adding books to my Pango shop until like the New Year's only, just to have some relaxation time. But they will all go in my Pango shop. And also a couple of books I need to save for my monthly wrap up. So the first book is Highlander for the Holidays by Janet Chapman. I did read this month. I enjoyed it. It was cute. It was a nice, light romance in time for the holidays. I just know that I'm not going to read it again. I mean, I would give it maybe a 2.5, 3 star. There were some, maybe 3. It was cute, but I know I'm not going to read it again. Then I'm going to get rid of The Cat Who Saw Red by Lillian Jackson Braun. This is book 4 in the Cat Who series. And I have a box set with the first 3, and then this one goes in that box set. So there will be a box set after January 1st in my Panko store. And I've been liking the Cat Who series. I like the cats more than I like Quillerin. It's just, wow, it is really a product of its time. But even, like, there's just a lot of fat shaming, and Quillerin is very misogynistic. I'm hoping he gets better as the series progresses. But like I said, I've been enjoying the cats, and I like mysteries. So I've just needed something quick and light-ish to read in between chunky books. And I found a whole bunch of the Cat Who books for free on a cart at my library. So that's why I picked these up. So then I'm going to get rid of This Enchanted Land, or The Enchanted Land by Jude Devereaux. This is like her first book. And I read this years and years and years ago, like when I was in college maybe, or high school. I don't remember. And I started reading it. I got about halfway through and I stopped it. And I just didn't want to pick it back up again. Now, look how stunningly vintage this cover is. It's just gorgeous. It's just beautiful. I just struggled with like everything, just how they're treating, like all of the men are treating our main female character. It's just, and please don't tell me it's a product of the time. It's not. It's just, it's a product of when this romance novel was written, really. So then I'm getting rid of The Weight of Ink by Rachel Kadish. And I got this at a free little library, and it looked intriguing. It's set in London in the 1660s and the early 2000s, about like Jewish immigrants and Jewish history. It looked intriguing. I was interested in it, and I'm not reading historical fiction that much anymore. So I realistically looked at my historical fiction section and said, you know what, I probably am not going to end up picking this up. So I just need to clear it off my shelf so I can make room. The next one, it kind of pains me to put this in my Pango shop. It kind of pains me to get rid of it. But I just didn't love it as much as the first book. Will I read more books in this series? Yes, I will. And that is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. And it was enjoyable. I gave it a 3, maybe a 3.5 star when I read it. So I did enjoy it. It was a good time. I missed Thimble so much. Here's why this book suffered, I think. So Legends and Lattes was written first, and then this prequel was written. And I think it would have been better if it was more this comes out then Legends and Lattes. So I think that's why it kind of suffered. And it just, the side characters were cute, but they did not hold my attention as much as the side characters in Legends and Lattes. And I felt like it was even more lower stakes than Legends and Lattes. And I wanted something to refer. Although I will say this, I did love the fact, like all of the reading and all the books that she's reading while she's recovering from an injury. That was fun, but hopefully it will go to a home where someone else will like it more. All right, so then the next one, sorry, I was trying to reach and get things off. So I've read the first 2 books in this series. And the third one I just keep looking at the shelf and looking at on the shelf. And I read it relatively early on in the year, like March, April, May, somewhere around in there. And I keep looking at the third book on the shelf, and I'm just like, I really don't want to read it. Which is kind of painful because that third book is on my 50 book for 50. So I'm going to have to substitute it out for something else. So I don't know what that will be yet. But getting rid of the Red Rising trilogy, which means that I'm also getting rid of Dark Age. So here's the thing. I loved Red Rising. I thought Red Rising was fantastic. I loved the nods to Hunger Games. It was like Hunger Games on Mars with Gattaca thrown in and like Divergent thrown in. Like it was fascinating to me. I really enjoyed it. Book 2, now you see like I have a lot of tabs. They're just tabs. I did not underline in it. I wanted more of the side characters. I wanted more Severo and I wanted more Rengar. And I wasn't getting that. And so I just wanted and the political machinations was very confusing, and especially when like people have one name and then they have another name. So there's 2 different names that you're having to track for one character, and they go back and forth, and you're just kind of like, who is this? And I couldn't remember even what happened in book 1, and I didn't read them that far apart. So like I kept wanting it to be more than it was, and it wasn't. And there was also, oh God, what was that movie? Shoot. 7. There's also a 7 moment in this book where I was just like, okay. It just, I'm beginning to feel like he's taking a lot of things from other like pop culture nods, and I was just kind of like, I want something original. So bye-bye. And that one makes me sad. Like I wanted to like Golden Sun a whole lot more. And I think what also suffered from it was getting hyped up to me by other people when I was on reading sprints and saying I'm reading Golden Sun and like, oh my gosh, it's so fantastic. And I'm like, I'm not feeling it, but okay. The next book I'm going to bring to my classroom library. So it's getting off my shelves at home, but it's going to go to my classroom library. So I'm considering it an unhaul because I'm not tracking it in my like spreadsheet of physically owned books, because once it's in my library, then it's like I can't bring it back home. And that's Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys, which I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was fantastic. It's a YA story about a girl and her family who get taken in the night. They live in Lithuania and they get taken and they're shipped off to Siberia and labor camp prison out in Siberia during World War II. And I just thought it was really good. And her author's note at the end of the book, I was just floored. Like I never thought about the fact that, you know, when people were finally released from prison, like when they went home, like 10 years later, some people had like moved into their homes, of course, you know, which I kind of figured would happen. But like some people had taken their names. Like, what? Why would you do that? And then because Lithuania was under communist rule, they couldn't talk about what happened to them for fear that, you know, someone would overhear it and they'd be back in a labor camp again. And just how horrible that is. So, yeah. And then this is one that I wanted to like more. And I enjoyed it, but I also didn't enjoy it. So, and that's Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. Here's what worked for me. I loved the Viking inspiration that this took. I loved how strong she was and just how she fought. I loved her relationship with the man who is the love interest. Like, I loved how they bantered back and forth and they fought together, both like against each other and with each other. Here's what I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that it basically was an adultery trope. And yes, I understand why, like, people might not think that it's an adultery trope, but it kind of sort of is, and that kind of made me uncomfortable, and I didn't like that. And also, I felt like the twist at the end really was not a twist. I saw that twist with one of the characters, and that character's allegiance, like, a mile coming away. Like, as soon as I heard more about that character's backstory, I was like, well, here's their allegiance. Duh. Like, and so I don't understand why people were surprised by that. Like, duh. So if I continue on in this series, I'll probably check it out at the library, simply because now I'm like, I want to know what happens, but I don't want to spend the money on the book. So who knows? I don't know if I'll DNF the series or not, but that's all that I'm unhauling for right now. I'm working. That's pretty much like, so the reason why the unhaul is I have that one bookshelf where I store the books that I read throughout the year. Like I'll pull all the books I plan on reading for reading challenges, and then as I read them, I shelve them like on that shelf in the order that I read them. And then at the end of the year, I switch those books out and then I put new books on for the next year on. So that's what I did yesterday. And in reshelving books that I know I want to keep in their permanent locations, I'm going, I need to make space because I keep hauling books. So 2025 should hopefully be slower. I say that up every month, every year. But I'm really trying to be mindful of what I'm bringing in and making sure that I'm reading it. That's kind of one of my goals unwritten goals for next year. And I'm kind of thinking of doing a modified version of Read What You Own, the Read What You Own challenge. There are some people who won't buy a new book until they've read 100 books on that Read What You Own challenge. And I'm like, that's a whole year's worth of, of a no buy, which I know I can't do. I cannot do that. So it would have to be a more modified version of how I do that. So I'm thinking through that. More to come. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, even if it's just like, book emojis or Christmas tree emoji, a holiday kind of mistletoe, if they've got a mistletoe emoji. I don't know if they do or not. Or a Santa emoji. I don't know if they do or not. Something cute and fun just to let me know that you're here. It does help my channel grow. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope that you and your loved ones have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Bye.